There is a weight sitting right in the middle of your chest every time you almost open your mouth to tell someone this. It is not worry. It is a warning. Chosen one. Last night, or some night close to this one, you lay there and rehearsed in your mind the exact words you were going to say to someone tomorrow. And I know exactly what that feeling is, because it does not come from ordinary excitement. It comes from a much older place, a place that has always needed someone else to nod before you let yourself believe something is real. But today, I have to tell you something nobody around you is saying out loud. The next move you are about to make, the step already forming inside you, has to be held like a deadly secret, not because it is shameful, because it is still too young to survive the mouths of other people. You are going to understand why the urge to tell someone is not joy. It is a pattern you have been carrying for a long time, a pattern that has always needed someone else to agree before you dared to trust yourself. You are going to feel that weight loosen within the next few minutes, and you are going to leave with something practical, a real way to keep your mouth closed without feeling dishonest or alone while you do it. Because something has started forming in you. And God is not telling you to hide it, He is telling you to hold it. Something furious is not the same as something cruel. When I say God is furious, I do not mean He is angry at you. I mean He is standing guard over something you have not fully understood, is precious yet. And He is furious at anything that comes near it before its time. That includes your own mouth. Think about the last time you carried news you were bursting to share. A new job, a decision to leave something behind, a relationship shifting, a number on a page that meant more than money. The second you told someone, something changed in the air around it. Maybe they asked a question that planted a small doubt. Maybe their face did something you were not expecting. Maybe nothing happened outwardly at all, but something inside you felt smaller after you said it than before. That is not your imagination. That is a real mechanism, and we are going to name it in a few minutes. For now, understand this much. Every time you have spoken a forming thing out loud too soon, some small piece of your certainty about it left your body and went to live inside someone else instead of staying in yours. You handed away a piece of ownership you did not need to hand away. For now, I want you to notice this. If you feel a pull right now, an itch to grab your phone and text someone, or to bring this up at dinner tonight, or to post something vague online that hints at what is coming, that pull is not neutral. It is not simply excitement looking for an outlet. There is a reason it feels almost unbearable to keep quiet. And there is a reason that reason has followed you your entire life, usually back to a much younger version of you, who learned that being believed required an audience. I want you to say this quietly to yourself, even if no sound comes out. I release the need for someone else to confirm this is real. I do not need to say this yet. Type I hold this if you feel that weight in your chest right now, because that is not fear talking. That is discernment waking up, maybe for the first time in years, and it deserves to be honored, not silenced by your own habit of narrating your life out loud before it has finished happening. There is a story I want to walk you through, and it is not a comfortable one. It involves a young man, a coat of many colors, 2 dreams, and a well that almost became his grave, all because he could not keep something sacred to himself. Long before he ever ran a nation, he was a boy who told his brothers exactly what he saw in his sleep, expecting celebration and receiving something closer to a death sentence instead. But before we get there, I need you to understand exactly what is happening in your own body right now when you feel that urge to speak, because the mechanism behind it is older than any of us, and once you see it, you will never mistake it for excitement again. Here is what almost nobody tells you about the moment you feel that itch to announce something before it is ready. Your body treats being seen as the same thing as being real. If nobody has witnessed it, some old part of you is not fully convinced it happened. That is why a promotion does not feel finished until you post it. That is why a decision does not feel solid until you have said it out loud. to at least one other person. You have been trained, probably since childhood, to outsource the verification of your own life to an audience. Notice how that feels in your body right now as I describe it. If there is a tightening across your shoulders or a small resistance rising in your chest, that is not disagreement, that is recognition. We are going to name this pattern because a thing without a name keeps operating on you in the dark, and a thing with a name becomes something you can finally see clearly enough to release. We call this the announcement leak. Every time you speak a forming thing before its foundation is set, energy that should be reinforcing the thing itself leaks out instead into managing how other people react to it. You spend your strength convincing, explaining, defending, reassuring, instead of building. This is why so many chosen ones carry 10 unfinished dreams and 1 exhausted mouth. Not because they lack faith, because they have been leaking the fuel meant for the work into 100 small conversations that were never going to build anything anyway. I told you about a young man with a coat of many colors. Here is the rest of it. He had 2 dreams, both pointing to the same truth, that he would one day stand above even his own family in position and purpose. He was young, thrilled, certain everyone would celebrate the way he had, so he told them. Not once, twice, and what came back was not celebration. It was a well, then a caravan, then years of a foreign land, far from anyone who remembered who he actually was. Here is the part most retellings skip. The dream did not fail. The dream was true. Every detail of it eventually happened exactly as shown. What failed was the timing of the telling. He announced a seed and expected people to treat it like a harvest. And people cannot celebrate what they cannot yet see. So instead, they did what threatened people do. They tried to bury it. You are not late. You are deep. What looks like a delay in your life right now is very often simply your assignment growing roots below ground, where no eye, including your own, can measure its progress yet. That is not a failure state. That is exactly what a root system is supposed to look like from the outside. Ugly, invisible, silent, and completely necessary. Type, I release this. If you have been carrying a dream, you have told too many people already. Because releasing the leak does not mean giving up on it. It means finally sealing the container, so what remains inside can actually finish forming. Here is the deeper mechanism underneath the leak, the one that explains why this has followed you for years and not just this one situation. Most people who struggle with the announcement leak grew up in an environment, sometimes loving, sometimes not, where their internal sense of reality was never fully trusted on its own. A parent who needed convincing before offering approval. A sibling who mocked instead of witnessed. A church, a classroom, a family dinner table, where being believed required performing your certainty loudly enough for someone else to validate it. So, you built a habit, completely reasonable given what you lived through, of needing an external nod before internal belief could fully land. But you are not in that room anymore. And the thing forming in you right now does not need a panel of judges. It needs one thing only: time, held in silence, protected from mouths that were never given the job of confirming what God already confirmed the moment He planted it. This is your reframe. What you thought was secrecy born from shame is actually stewardship born from maturity. Chosen ones are not the loudest in the room about what is coming. They are the most composed, because composure is what a mature vessel looks like while it carries something sacred through its most fragile season. I want to pause here and be honest with you about something most messages like this one skip past. Naming a pattern is not the same as being free of it. You are going to close this video today, and at some point this week, you are going to feel that old itch rise up again. The urge to text someone, the urge to hint at it in a caption. That is not a sign you failed to receive this teaching. That is a sign you are human, and the pattern is old. And old patterns do not vanish because they were named once. They loosen a little more, every time you catch them and choose differently. Type, "I see this," if you have already caught yourself wanting to reach for your phone while listening to this, because catching it in real time, right now, is the entire skill. That is the muscle we are building. Now, I want to hold something in front of you and ask you to sit with it for a moment before we continue, because I am not going to explain it fully yet. Over the last several years, in research settings that had nothing to do with faith or spirituality, something has been discovered about the way the human brain physically processes information that most spiritually sensitive people have felt their entire lives but never had language for. A small group of researchers studying how the two halves of the brain communicate found something specific about why some people seem to receive clarity, discernment, and direction with almost no effort, while others, often people who pray just as hard and believe just as deeply, feel like they are shouting into static. It is not a difference in faith. It is a difference in something structural, something that can actually be adjusted, and I am going to come back to exactly what that is a little later, because I think it explains more about your season of silence than you currently realize. For now, notice this: the static you sometimes feel when you try to discern whether something is God or just your own hopeful imagination. That static is real, and it is not a permanent condition. Let us talk honestly about the objections sitting in the back of your mind right now, because I know it is there. You are thinking, but what about the people who already know? What about the family member who will notice something is different and ask directly? Are you supposed to lie to them? No. Holding a deadly secret does not mean deception. It means discretion. There is a difference between someone asking a direct, loving question and deserving a true general answer, and you volunteering the full, unformed details to a group chat because the silence felt unbearable. You can say, "Something is shifting for me, and I am still finding the words for it." And that sentence is completely true and completely sealed at the same time. And to the version of you thinking, "But I have always told everyone everything. That has always been my way of processing," I want to gently say this. Processing out loud with one trusted, safe, spiritually mature person is not the leak we are talking about. The leak is broadcasting a forming thing to an audience that was never built to hold it carefully. Close your eyes for just a moment if you can while still listening. Feel your feet, wherever they are right now, actually touching the floor beneath you. Feel your breath moving in your chest without trying to control it. This is your body, fully present, fully here, not rehearsing a conversation with someone who is not even in the room. Let your shoulders drop half an inch. That is the posture of someone who no longer needs an audience to know something is true. But here is what most messages like this one never say. What you have learned until now is true, and it will genuinely help you hold your peace. But without one more piece, the peace we are coming to very soon, this discipline will only work at a fraction of its real capacity, because knowing you should stay quiet and having the actual internal clarity to do it without white-knuckling through the urge are two very different things. So let me say the plain version of everything so far. No metaphor, no story, just the truth of it laid flat in front of you. Here is why. Your urge to announce forming things before they are ready comes from a pattern of needing outside confirmation to trust your own inner knowing, formed young and reinforced for years. Here is what it costs you. Every early announcement leaks strength meant for building into managing other reactions instead, exposing fragile new things to doubt before they have any root system to withstand it. Here is who this is for. Anyone who has ever felt chosen and then felt foolish for saying so out loud too soon. This is not shaming your past. It is equipping your next season. That is who you have been. That is not who you have to keep being. The static I mentioned earlier, the reason some people receive clarity easily while others feel like they are shouting into silence, comes down to something researchers call whole brain synchronization. Your brain has two halves, And in most adults, years of stress and noise have left those halves communicating poorly. One handles logic. The other handles intuition, the quiet, inner knowing people of faith, often called discernment. When the two are not talking properly, you get exactly what you may have felt, moments where you cannot tell if a thought is God, anxiety, or just noise. A neurologist in New York named Dr. Daniel Barone spent years studying this gap after learning of Nobel Prize research into how the two hemispheres divide their work. What he built from it is a simple 8-minute audio sequence called the genius switch, a way to gently resynchronize both halves using nothing but sound through headphones, eyes closed, nothing to perform. It works quietly beneath your awareness while you rest and listen. This is not a replacement for prayer or discernment. It is closer to clearing static off a phone line, so the call you are already making can finally be heard on both ends. I want to be honest, because that matters more than sounding polished. This is not for everyone. It is for the one who has felt chosen for years, done the inner work, and still feels discernment arriving late or garbled. If that is not you, this particular tool is simply not necessary for your path. The Genius Switch is not sold in stores or on any streaming platform, only through the link below and in the pinned comment, delivered by email the moment you decide. Colleagues of Dr. Barone said it should be priced near $500 given the research behind it. It is not. It sits at $39 today, backed by a full money-back guarantee with no limit on how long you may try it, plus 4 bonuses at no extra cost, including a guided visualization and a practical shopping guide for foods that quietly fog the mind. 18,456 people have already used this, not because they lacked faith, but because faith and function were never meant to be enemies. The mechanism is clear now. The door is visible. What remains is simply this. Now that you know, what do you do with it? Type, I receive this. If something in you is ready to stop, white-knuckling through silence, and instead feel settled while you hold what God has given you. Here is the heaviest thing I have to tell you today, saved until now on purpose, because you needed everything before it to receive this one fully. Your silence has felt exhausting, not because silence itself is hard. It is because you have been holding something sacred, using strength never designed for the job, your own willpower, instead of the container built for this exact purpose, your identity as a sealed vessel. A sealed vessel is not a locked box hiding something shameful. It is a chosen container, prepared and set apart, trusted with contents too valuable to expose to open air before their time. You spent years thinking your instinct to keep things private made you secretive, maybe even a little dishonest with people who love you. It does not. It makes you exactly what a vessel prepared for something significant is supposed to be, closed until it is time to be poured out. Let me show you something before we close. A picture I want you to actually stand inside for a moment, rather than just hear. See yourself a year from now. The thing you are holding silent today has finished forming. It has roots now, not just a seed. You are standing in a room, maybe the same kitchen you are in right now, and someone finally asks you how it happened, and you answer with a calm you did not have a year ago, because you no longer need them to believe you for it to have been real. It already was real the entire time, whether anyone clapped for it or not. That is the version of you this silence is building. Not a smaller you, a steadier one. Picture the people around you noticing the shift before you ever explain it. The way a room goes quiet around someone who has stopped needing to convince anyone of anything. Before this message ends, I am going to speak something over your life, so stay with me a moment longer, because what comes next is not something you want to miss the ending of. Somewhere this week, the urge is going to rise again. Someone is going to ask a question, and your mouth is going to want to spill more than it should. When that moment comes, I want you to remember one sentence. Not everything true needs to be spoken today. You can hold a truth and still love the person asking, without handing them the whole unfinished thing before it is ready to be held. I am grateful for you staying through this, for letting something land instead of scrolling past it. Not every message finds the person ready to receive it, and today, this one found you. Something in you recognized itself in almost every part of this, and that recognition is not an accident. Picture the weight that has been sitting in your chest this entire time, the one we named at the very beginning. Picture it now as an actual physical object resting there. And picture it simply dissolving, not violently, just quietly, the way morning fog lifts once the sun has done its work without asking permission first. I release the need to be believed before it is time. I release the exhaustion of managing how other people react to my life. I release the shame that was never mine to carry in the first place. I release the habit of leaking my strength into explanations nobody asked me to give. You are not secretive. You are sealed. You are not late. You are deep. You are not hiding something shameful. You are guarding something sacred until the day it no longer needs guarding, only pouring out. I am a sealed vessel. I am trusted with what has not yet been shown. I am steady enough to wait and strong enough to stay quiet while the roots finish their work underground. I am not required to explain a season God has not finished writing yet. Type "I am sealed" if you receive that over your life right now, and let it settle all the way down, not just in your mind, but in your chest, where the weight used to sit. If this reached something true in you today, gently press whatever button lets you carry this forward, not for me, but so it reaches someone else out there who is white-knuckling through a silence they thought meant something was wrong with them. And before you go, think of someone specific. Maybe someone who has gone quiet lately in a way that confused you. Someone who used to share everything and suddenly stopped. Someone carrying a decision they have not explained to anyone yet, maybe not even to themselves in full. Send this to that person. Not with an explanation, not with a comment attached that says "this made me think of you." Just send it, quietly, the same way they are quietly holding whatever they are holding, and let them find inside it whatever they need to find. If joining a wider community of people walking this same path feels right to your spirit, that space exists here for you as well, simply for the ones who no longer want to walk this quietly alone. If what was described earlier resonates with your spirit, the link remains in the description and the pinned comment, waiting for you whenever you are ready, with no pressure attached to it and no clock forcing your hand. And so it is.